Also, a disclaimer before this video starts. This is gonna contain some very unrealistic scenarios, so get ready to have your brain turned into mush by the time this video is done. Bye-bye. Video hadn't come onto my plan radar yet, but I have a kind of special idea where I'm gonna explain a given event that happened in Talruna, and I'll use real-life terms. That means I'll explain it with real-life countries and real-life people as stand-ins for figures that would otherwise exist in a fictional setting. I already imagine how hellish this is gonna be. Fine. Let's spin the wheel then, and see how long this is gonna take to explain. Okay, looks like we got World War II. This one won't take too long since I already have a little teeny tiny bit of lore about it written on my fandom page, so I'll just run off of that. Okay, this one's gonna be simple. So, the story starts in Spain, or in this universe known as Cuilada. Now, Spain had a civil war a decade earlier than the real timeline. So Spain wants to spread fascism throughout Europe without causing a direct war right away. So what he does is that in 1937, he begins paying the Nazis of Germany. I don't want to say their full name, but they're led by the Austrian painter. So he helps the Austrian painter get to power through a coup in 1932. Then he does the same with Italy and eventually Japan. Coup after coup. And he even throws in Portugal into the mix, making the Axis even bigger. It's also the first time where proxy conflicts became a thing. In Britain, the Labour and Conservative parties were as good as useless. So, after decades of almost aristocratic rule in Britain, a lack of progress, and the rise of communism, Spain decided to throw another coup. That started the 1938 British coup, which installed Oswald Mosley as Prime Minister of Britain. From there, Britain immediately collapsed into civil war. D-Day had taken place in Portugal into this timeline, where Eisenhower plotted to take down the fascist regime of Spain. Now, how he wanted to do this was 1. Counteract the blitzkrieg tactics, and 2. Try to bring an end to all of the puppet states at once. Now, the Allied forces had a very different staffing. France wasn't liberated until 1946. So the Allies now were Mexico, America, Canada, and the Soviet Union. The Soviets were battling heavily in the east, entering the Danubian Federation, and trying to install a socialist republic. Although that was not in the plan of Eisenhower, if it was to dismantle the puppet state located in the Danubian Federation and in Germany, all means necessary were justified. On the initial collapse of fascism, all the puppet states began falling one after the other. Czechoslovakia, Hungary, the Danubian Federation, Germany, France, and Portugal all collapsed in the matter of 15 months. Now came different plans for what to do about Spain. Would Spain be partitioned? What would happen to Portugal? What would happen to Portugal once they had ridded them of Antonio Salazar? One of the options was to reinstate the Spanish Republic from prior to the Civil War. One of the other options was to partition Spain between the United States and France, with the Basque County becoming part of France for a limited amount of time. The former option was chosen, with the Spanish Republic being reinstated on June 18th, 1947. The Spanish Republic would only cease function after a referendum held in 1983. Portugal was under Soviet control from 1946 to 1960. In that period, it was forced to give colonies like Mozambique and Angola independence by 1950. These countries had become the first to leave the colonial empire of Portugal. And I'm gonna finish off this video by saying sorry if this video appears to be rushed. I actually forgot to talk about the part where Spain actually declares war, or Guilada declares war on who, which is a shortcoming on my side. I will answer these questions in the comments instead.